Morning, Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Frank and Candid. I am Tony Nice. Good to have you. Let's go to the news as per usual. A 56-year-old woman pleaded not guilty yesterday to a charge of wounding Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves during a protest last Thursday that had been organized by the main opposition, New Democratic Party, and two public sector trade unions. She will return to court on September 15th. The woman was granted a $3,000 bail with one surety when she appeared at the Kingstown Magistrate Court. She is being represented by a two-member defense team. Gonsalves suffered a concussion when he was struck in the head by an object outside the Parliament on Thursday during the protest against a move by his government to have frontline workers vaccinated against COVID-19. And just as a programming note, Leadership Matters this evening at 8 o'clock. Mr. Cromwell Henry, Superintendent of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, Medical Chief of Staff. That's tonight. Leadership Matters at 8 o'clock on the path to a phased economic recovery. All right. This morning, I want to touch on a observation. Not new, not a new observation, but it persists. So, talk about it some more. The situation in our country with respect to the garbage, especially plastics. Now, everywhere you go these days, I went for a walk a couple mornings ago, and I was shocked to see, these plastic containers, bottles, in a place that is considered one of our major attractions here in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's a heritage site, as a matter of fact, designated so. But people walk there, exercise, it's fine. But it's just concerning to see that people actually didn't care where they dropped their bottles and stuff, and it's just unsightly. Now, this whole, plastic discussion, we've had it before. Other jurisdictions have had the discussion. They have even banned the plastics in some places. Now, we love plastic, right? It's a great invention. It has many uses. I doubt that I can go through a full list of all of its uses here on this program today. It provides a certain level of convenience, unmatched with most products. We use it to carry our groceries. Then we use it to carry out the garbage. Right? Seems to me that's innovative, right? You shop with it, then you use it to take the garbage out. Now, after we utilize the plastic, we then dispose of it. How do we dispose of the plastic that we no longer need? Whether it's a plastic bag, plastic bottle, what have you. That's the question. And therein lies the problem and the focus. There's no doubt that plastic, as I said, was innovative at the time of its creation. But everyone failed to see that our love for it would lead us to a rise of cheap products and a throwaway culture that now leaves us with a major environmental crisis, particularly when it comes to our seas, our beaches, waterways. And no one predicted the effects that this plastic pollution would have on our environment, especially the marine life. Plastic really doesn't degrade or decay, in the same way that other stuff do. And certainly won't disappear. It just accumulates, taking over the seas, killing marine life. I can share numbers with you, but at the risk of boring you some, but there are serious numbers out there about plastic. For example, it is said that every year around 12.7 million tons of plastic enter the sea. Every minute, in fact, 1 truckload of plastic is dumped in our oceans. If these rates continue, experts predict that by 2050, there will be more plastic in our seas than fish. Staggering, right? So, the next time you drop your unwanted plastic container, your bottle, whatever, think about this. Fish may be actively seeking out plastic debris in the ocean. You see, according to the research, to the fish, the tiny pieces of plastic appear to smell similar to their natural prey. According to the same study, the fish confuse plastic for an edible substance because microplastics in the oceans pick up a covering of biological material such as algae that mimics the smell of the food. And scientists presented schools of marine organisms in the study with the plastic and with their food. And it is said that the marine organisms responded exactly the same to the fish, the food, and to the plastic, which tells you that the marine life can't really distinguish because they're using the sense of smell and what looks to them like the same thing, food. It is only after they have consumed it that there's a problem. Now, plastic may be, as they say, more deceptive to fish than many of us previously thought. If the plastic looks and smells like food, it is more difficult for animals like fish to distinguish it as not food. And these are just things to think about. There are a number of deadly plastic products. I'm sure many of you who have had the opportunity to buy a 6-pack of canned soda or canned beer or something. There's that 6-pack ring, that plastic ring that it comes in. You see these all over the place. Those are, they say, the most horrifying for birds, getting entangled in this 6-pack ring. So, an estimated 100 million metric tons of plastic, they say, is currently present in the oceans. So if one plastic bag can bring down birds and fish, imagine the consequences of such a number. That's just and significant as it is, deals with the marine life. It is also unsightly. When you go to our beaches and you see people who have been on an outing on the beach, don't really clean up after themselves, and all of the evidence of the party they had is on the beach. To me, it would be a simple matter of containing everything into a bigger plastic garbage bag and then dispose of it properly. But they don't. They just drop it. Whether it's the foam container or the plastic container. You can see it on the beaches still. You can see it in the streets, in the drains. And it also comes down in the guts, because what happens is there's a lot of people who are dumping stuff upstream. And so when, as today, in these couple of days, the guts are running, some of the things that come down in the gut are these plastic. Some of these plastic make it all the way to the sea. Therein lies the problem. It's unsightly, not only to us who are residents of this country. As residents of this country, you shouldn't want to see that in your country. Secondly, we are dependent on tourism. You wouldn't want somebody visiting your country to see that either. So, as a matter of pride, why not take your empty bottle with you until you get to the nearest dumpster? Maybe there needs to be more dumpsters in more strategic locations. But until such time, why not wait out until you get to the next one? All in an effort to maintain the cleanliness of your country. It doesn't look good for me to go to the beach. It doesn't look good for me to visit places of interest here in St. Kitts and see containers where people had had a meal and just dropped it. Had a bottle of water or soda, just dropped it. I think it's an easy solution that we just don't drop it where we sit. We take it with us till we get to the next dumpster. That shouldn't be too difficult, right? But unfortunately, it is difficult for some. And so we do a number of things. We make our country look nasty, and at the same time we're causing havoc within the environment. We're killing the marine life, killing the birds, and we move on. No consequence to us that we know of in the immediate, but in the long run, if that continues, maybe our children and grandchildren would feel the consequence of what we're doing. And it is up to us to make sure that what our children and grandchildren are left with is better than what we met. So, just thought I'll mention that because I actually came across an unsightly venue, and I really wasn't happy when I saw that, and I just felt that again we could talk about it and maybe urge you, maybe make you think about it the next time you're about to drop a bottle. Remember that this is your country, and you want your country, your home, to be a clean one, so that it's clean for us and it is clean for those who visit us, and it is clean for the environment, and it is clean for the food that we eat from the sea. So just something to think about. 465-2555, 718-577-2916, the numbers here. Feel free to weigh in on anything I've just said. We will take a quick break. When we come back on this Wet Tuesday, we will start our conversation.
It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gon' be safe. Everybody gon' be safe. One kind, yeah. One people. We are roll up to roll out, yeah. Cause no man's alone. Do what's right, cause I love you. Brother, my sister. And we're in this together. My sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah, yeah. It's better for us, yeah. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to let it roll out.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
All right, welcome back to Frank and Candid on this Tuesday morning, a wet one it is. I'm Tony Nass, and we are discussing the uncleanliness that we see, and specifically talking about the plastics we see that people just drop any old way in our country. Let's go to the phone. So say good morning, welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Brother Tony.
Good morning.
This is not first. I want to thank God for the rain. I know that there's a storm out there, but I just want to wish that it could be just rain and a lot of wind to come and destroy our house roof and destroy our food crops. You understand? Because you know that COVID got us under stress right now, got us under financial difficulties. Some family members going down from since COVID start each year. And I just want the people of this country to do what is right. Stop local listening, listen to the program then. Up to this morning, I had an interesting program about the sheltering and so how will you know. So people just listen, tune in and listen. And if the guy tell you go online because this is what we want, the information. Now, Brother Tony, I got a very serious concern. And my concern is about this phone company. I went to buy a phone about 3 weeks ago. Where did you sell it? I bought the phone the Friday. Well, when I bought the phone, I begged the girl to set up for me everything she put on the thing for me and she I went home with it. But what happened? When the phone ring, anybody called me on the phone ringing, can't hear the phone when ringing. You understand? Well, what happened now? When I talk to anybody, I can't hear the phone turn up button. I can't into them and turn it up. They said that's all the value of that. So to that, I lose in a little business. I asked them to change it for me. I give them a phone. I pay the extra. They said that only those kind of phones they got. So you think when you go into this company, they're supposed to let people know how these things operate before they sell you. You understand? The guy is telling me now I tell you that the guy is telling me I must use the earpiece. I tell him, select earpiece, them and in the mountain and so. And me going to put on the phones, put on the speaker, the people hear me got to say. Because up to today, this morning, Oh, and the phone, people calling and phone talking to people. And I can't hear the people on the phone. No. Look how they went calling, I can't hear the people on the phone. So I believe I got to do better, man. Whether the phone, some things to start, when this phone thing coming here, smartphone, it is going to deal with, and I'm a customer to them. I even tell the guys, go and call the boss and ask him if I can't get the phone changed. I give me back the money. He said, no. All right, then, Tony, somebody get a chance.
Okay, thank you. And speaking of the weather and storms and all of that, Senior Met Officer Elmer Burke is also on the panel this evening, Leadership Matters, so just note. Back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah, Gabian, Queen, and Zinga. Blessed them, my beloved African brother. How are you and your family?
We're all doing well. You?
Good, man, and the clan is good too, beloved. Beloved, great topic, beloved. You see, but let me ask you, do you even have a redeem center or centers down there just like how, in a modern country? Where you go, you buy your server, you water, you can take it back where they charge your fee and your thing and purchasing, and when you take it back, they give you back your money, whether it's 10 cents, a quarter, dime, a nickel, whatsoever. Don't have no centers like that down there, beloved?
Not that I know of. There's no refund on plastic bottles, but there are a couple of locations around the city, maybe 2 or 3, where you can drop them into, but not as a refund.
Man, the administration need to do something about that, not make it a law, put it in legislation, enforce it. Okay, you buy your whatever, you know what I'm talking about, and others.
Yes.
At the time of purchase, whether it's whatever the price is, and you could take it back to where you bought it, or you got some deemed centers, and they will cut down on a lot of this plastic, brother. And like you rightly said, I'm a vegan for 45 years, beloved. And, but that's beside me, beloved. When these fishes, these marine life, eat those plastic go inside of people consume them. Our people get sick and you don't know what's happening to them, beloved. The Pan-African Republic of the where me come from, and my maternal grandfather was a fisherman, beloved, and I always got things, for fishermen, but even though I'm a vegan, but that's not the point, no. Beloved, and again, our coastal lines, beloved, I'm going to talk about Pan-African Republic of Tipe, and I know it's throughout the island, 2 islands, St. Kitts and Nevis. Beloved, I remember when I was growing up, going to chapel school as a child, he had 2 retaining walls, a stone wall, and he had a concrete wall back up that. Brother, the stone wall is gone, and the sea is undermining, beloved, the concrete wall that was there. I committed, beloved, and it's washing away, and going in the sea.
Talking about Dip Bay?
Go ahead.
You talking about in Dip Bay?
Yes. Okay. Chapel School area, beloved.
Okay.
All by your Sankofa, my cousin there, now he put some big boulders and everything. But when you go which part the school is, beloved, the old school.
Okay.
Beloved, that been happening for years. Something must be done, brother, to our coastal lines. Both St. Kitts and Nevis, come on, we need to have more things in the environment, or else we ain't going to leave nothing for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and St. Kitts and Nevis who are going into the sea. The sea going to keep coming in and destroy our island. Look at the great salt ponds, them. You ain't got no great salt ponds no more, beloved. How many salt ponds you got now, beloved?
The great salt pond is gone.
You're not that gone, but you had some little ones.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah, you see, all of this destruction, beloved. We're going to pay for it, our children going to pay for it, and grandchildren. Come on, Minister of Environment, and now you just come on board, beloved. But you got to encourage your colleagues in cabinet and Mr. Prime Minister. You must do something, and something must be done expeditiously, because if we ain't protect our environment, brother, is 50 years from now, what gonna be? St. Kitts gonna be what? 10 square miles? Nevis gonna be what? 2 square miles? No, beloved, we must take care of our environment and enforce laws. And you go party and them thing on the beach. Why, you ain't got no beach warden, beloved? No beach warden?
No.
That you see people doing all kind of things, you give them a ticket? Come on, put some receptacles and everything. It ain't take no rocket scientists to figure out these things, beloved. But our people, man, stop the nastiness and have patriotic pride and love for your country, brother. And I've said a lot, so continue to listen. Keep up the great works, Pan-Africanism and peace. One love, my beloved brother.
All right, one love. We're going back to the phones. Good morning, welcome. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Good morning, Mr. Nice.
Good morning.
Last week, Friday, you alluded to some information you got out of the UK. But when I tuned in yesterday, you probably dealt with that a little earlier in your program.
Yes, I did.
Yes. I wanted to kind of pick up on that, because we were known of when the former Prime Minister of the UK, I think it was David Cameron, visited Jamaica. Talks came up as to it could have been bordering on reparations, but Mr. Cameron has suggested that about building the facility, because they are Jamaican nationals that are in the correctional system in the UK, and he alluded to why not, instead of monies, money should go towards that. I don't think the Jamaicans took that kindly, and but I want to get to something that when we in the Caribbean, when one of our people, in terms of how we are segmented on these islands, go to a national of a particular island, state, nation, what have you, goes through, or groups of persons go through these things, we in the other islands tend to think that we are so isolated, it cannot reach us. But we are all in this thing together. We are part of the Windrush and all this thing, and we are after World War II with the UK, and wanted to get their cities back up, and after the bombing with World War II, as we know all this thing. And fast forwarding this to now, where I think it's Jamaica and Antigua is putting legislation forward for the case in which CARICOM agreed on the 10-point plan, including reparations, and every individual island, independent or not, would have their experts as to say, well, how many former enslaved persons came to this island from the British, but in the British colonies, as they make the case. You heard Carla spoke about some figures, and she has the experts assisting her with the figures and what the numbers might be for St. Kitts. And so, while Jamaica go along and put that, yes, the British, they're going to push back. We should expect it for Antigua, and we should expect it for all of these islands. Two persons suggested that collectively CARICOM should have made an announcement. CARICOM didn't make it, but they should have reiterated that announcement, seeing that it's going into the second phase now. The second phase, which is the legislative phase, which in every individual nation will do, but under the umbrella of CARICOM, they should have made an announcement to let all of us know that even though I'm Jamaican and I'm putting legislation in my legislative house, for the people of Jamaica per se, we are still under the one umbrella. collectively so that we can send the same message to England. Because if we in St. Kitts think that, okay, all the Jamaicans are getting deported because they started, and even more so, more by Joes, or not even inmates, but they're just picking up people on the street and deporting them because of the pushback. You know, and there's no way we're going to pay these people reparations. You know what? We're going to pass the box down to the next generation and our grandchildren and our grandchildren. I tell you what, eventually it's going to happen. And passing the box is not going to solve it. It's not going to solve it. So if we in St. Kitts think that we are out of the woods and we don't want to put legislation, because you see what Jamaica did, and you see the pushback from England, we better get on board and fast forward those legislations so that we can show solidarity with those now in Jamaica, and it's going to happen to Jamaica and to Antigua and Barbados, because you know Barbados is on the up and up now with their independence of moving away from the Queen. All those are signs. All of those are signs that we are becoming of a people. And so that's just my take on it. Okay. Look out for the other islands getting pushed back and their citizens being targeted in the UK. For whatever reasons, it may not be done through deportation. It might be done by depriving them of their pensions and other things. Thanks for listening.
Okay. All right. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Tony.
Hey, good morning.
How are you doing?
I am doing well.
Okay, make sure you're safe that in case we get any strong win, eh?
All right, will do.
Now, I have an important point here to bring about St. Kitts. Something similar to what Nabu spoke about a while ago. Well, I spoke about that same Bay wall down by the school a couple years ago. I spoke about it, and nothing has been done. Now, around the fort here, in Bastille, just around the bend from Mr. Gilando's property.
Yes.
I don't know if you notice it. Remember they used to throw garbage down there once over the wall?
Yes, yes.
Well, east of the garbage, there's a big hole up under the road there. And God forbid, if we should get a head-on south hurricane coming from the south, with those big tidal wakes out there in the sea, and one of them, two of them get up under the hole there, the whole of the road around there break in. So, I am calling again, and whosoever is responsible for looking into that and make sure that they prevent such happening from happening, go and look at it now. We have enough boulders over there at the quarry on the hill that they could take and put them down there and block the water from going up under the thing and undermining the land, because if Mr. Gilando's yard and house and everything will collapse in the hole if the water get up there under there. So that is of great concern. One time they were warning trucks, people with heavy trucks, not to drive around there because the road could sink. Well, that warning has stopped, but the hole is still under there. So I hope who's supposed to be listening, they're listening, because me and you spoke about the Cali Street got end, where the water comes off the road and drop in the dirt and dig out the hole, and there's a big sluice. We tell them how to do it. Dig out the sludge, put in big boulders, come up, and you reduce the size of boulders until you reach up where you could just run a concrete and it's straight from the road to the sand. And when the water come up on the sea, you just roll on the concrete, go up and you go back down. No water would come down with the gut and dig out any hole and cause any stinking looking hole to be there. Simple. You don't have to bring nobody with no long sleeve shot from university and tell them how to do that as engineer. We on the ground are engineers, we know how we go. We come up so I'm sending out that advice there to whosoever responsible for correcting those things there. Please listen to me, man. Small puppy bark. Big dog bark. Big dog bark. Who is that? Listen to the small puppy. Okay, Tony, thanks for your time.
Sure. All right. Let's go back. We lost that one. All right. Okay. Yeah. I know exactly the area on the Fortlands that we talked about so many times. I don't really want to see something happen around there, but I'm afraid that one day something may happen because it continues to undermine, the water continues to undermine the street. You can't see it as you drive around. You have to actually look over. So I have seen it a couple of times, so talked about it, but we will see. I'm also familiar with the area in Deep Bay as well, so these are things that need to be looked into before something else happens that tragic. But to the issue at hand, all of the plastic pollution, need to deal with that soon. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Niles. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, man?
I am well.
Mr. Niles, this is Jeremy here. One of the ways how we can eliminate the use of plastic, the supermarket rams sell a hard yellow shopping bag that most people can. It's a bag that you can reuse.
Reusable, right?
Yeah. I think we should consider that, because it would eliminate the use of the plastic that ever so often get to be littered and end up in the ocean. Also, those guys who are selling coconut, they can formulate something to ask their customer to return the bottles and have them recycled and sterilized, instead of having people buying. So, everybody's going for the coconut water, and the bottles, them are littered all over the place too. So somebody can, use the initiative to get these bottles to be recycled and sterilized in reuse. Mr. Niles, yesterday I mentioned something on your airwaves pertaining to our people, and I mentioned Wanoko Rashidi's passing in Cairo. And I mentioned that we, the black race, are the genesis of humanity. And I just want to stress for those who are listening to know that the spirit that was bestowed upon us is life. Life in the sense that the Spirit of God is invisible, as we know it in the Bible, according to what is written. The Spirit is invisible, and that which was made visible was entered into the womb of the woman. Spirituality is our culture and our education, everything that was bestowed on the custodians of creation. You and I wasn't there when we were created. The order, and you have a caller who mentioned that the Prime Minister of the head of the cabinet, and he gave the different ministers their portfolios and their area to govern. What is obtained as above, so is below. The order of the gods in the spiritual realm, it is about order. So on the day of creation, our linguistic again, and here we go again, Mr. Niles, that the language that was obtained, it was not English. Now, whether we want to say that it is translated to what we have today in the King James Version, well, today is the day of restoration. We have to restore what was obtained from the beginning. And the spirituality of the African race is in nature itself, because everything is in nature. And we are the only race that have reverence to nature. Mr. Niles, if you go to New York or anywhere in Europe or the West, everywhere is concrete jungle. The earth is alive, and that's why the earth is pushing back today on those creatures who have enslaved us, oppressed us, and are exploiting us on the continent of Africa. Again, I want to say that for those of us who think what is happening on the continent of Africa does not affect us today, the trauma to the transatlantic slave trade is affecting us today, Mr. Niles. you and I, the inheritance of the continent of Africa belongs to you and me. The West doesn't want us to go there, but they are there. Why are they there? All the superpowers have military base on the continent of Africa, and they are not there to protect Africans. I want our people to think about this, Mr. Nyers, because when God gave the land of milk and honey, He gave it to our race. The West knows this, and that's why they're keeping the continent, the richest continent on earth, that's why they're keeping their people poor. While we remain poor, it maintains their survival. Thank you for hearing, Mr. Nyers.
Okay, thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Nyers. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. You?
I'm just here listening to this interesting program that you have, right? And I was thinking that I think that all of the supermarkets, if they could come, the heads of the supermarkets can come together and they go out on a recycling drive. There are places in which we could send plastics in bags someplace to recycle, right?
Okay.
So what they can do is to get together and let every person who go to shop, you let them know that if you store your plastics in homes, at your house by bags on the outside or whatever, we will have a truck come and pick them up. But the thing is, they will get a little incentive for the bags that for the plastics that they're giving away or giving back to recycle. And because people like incentives, maybe that could go towards maybe coming shop again, or maybe going to pay a light bill or a water bill or something. So all these plastics, if people tend to put them in bags and they know that they're going to be picked up on a certain day, just according to pick up the garbage, and then they carry them to whichever supermarket, backyard or somewhere and have them outlet them where they have to put them, and then they will ship off to be recycled. I think that will help the economy a lot. It will help. I've seen it done in St. Thomas and other places, and I know recycling plastic is a big thing, so that could help around here. So nobody have to carry no bottle back to the place that they used before for them people who you think they'll wash it out and then they wash it out and use it again. No, that's right. Let us recycle them. Let us have these supermarkets come together and do that, and it will help a lot in the country. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's my input.
All right. Thank you. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Last week I had a chance to drive around the country. And when I reached there by Gatwin Cut, coming across there by Gatwin, what you call here, where they put the house and build. I tell you, I shocked to see there are no bushes there, no common tree there no more. Come down.
Oh. Think we lost that caller. Feel free to call back. Let's get to the next caller. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Nyers.
Good morning.
Mr. Nyers, just an observation. The United Nations just released their climate change report. And as you're aware, it's alarming, as they stated, how the earth is warming up, getting overheated, the rapid rate. And when I said the world was on fire yesterday, I didn't literally mean the world was on fire, but that report claims that the earth is warming up, getting overheated, real at a rapid and alarming rate. And Mr. Nyers, in Psalm 24, it said the earth is the Lord, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell in it. God lend us this earth. And they are calling on the various nations to control their emission of greenhouse gases. But we are experiencing a pandemic that have taken its toll on mankind. And Mr. Nyers, when I would have thought that as respectable leaders of the world, that a joint investigation, the leading nation should be carried out into the courts, where this virus originates, what was the cause of it, where it was really originated from. China declined, and I mean, nobody, no nations could come together to pressure China. And so when I am hearing they're calling for these nations to take on the responsibility in regards to the emission, I have no hope in mankind. I now have hope in God. This earth it is. And it would get worse. I don't want to be negative, but that's the reality. Because with all seriousness, the leadership in China should have taken responsibility to carry willingly, transparently, carried out investigations, knowing what this virus has caused mankind. And so really, I have no confidence in regards to how they would reduce the greenhouse gases and how they would reverse climate change. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, but
yes, sir.
Okay. I tell you, it is sad to see that one of these days we're going to use plastic. And plastic is very important because of some of us who burn from the shop and get the plastic behavior and take the plastic and what they do with them. Some people just eat and leave it and when you don't look at the plastic and go to this and it's ignorant. But when I tell you something in town, I buy something, I like something cheap bottle of water and drink it when I walk in around town, spending some time in town. And you know what I do? I got a bag. And bag them bottle in a bag, put it in a bag. I either can bring them home. You come up to me, as I said, been in town, actually, they need me. And if everybody has to do like me and do like other people, because a lot of people do it. Plastic is very important. Especially people like me who just sell me tamine. Because the bag them with a boy for the measurement, $10 a bag. Yes, the people who say parch nuts and boil nuts, some of them put them in plastic too. And some things go into plastic. So plastic is very important too. We do business. But the people them so arrogant and ignorant, when they get the plastic them all over here that coming over the radio and see what plastic can do to the sea and to the fishes them in the sea. They're still taking the plastic and showing them all over the place. And plastic is very light. When you let it come brown, when you blow it on at least you can reach. So I just want the people in man to just do what they got to do because plastic is very important. All right then.
Okay. It's important as a container. We could use a different container, right? Back to the phones. Good morning.
Blessed morning, sir.
Good morning. Blessed.
Listening to you and everyone who calling me talking about plastic bags. I'm here to say this morning, God is so great and He is so wonderful to us that we are here on earth, we are alive. And we just have to give God all the praise and all the glory for what He has done for us and what He is about to do. Let us not get weary praying and calling upon Him. Because this is the days, as the young people them just say, this is them days. I'm here to say this morning, once ago in my time, my young time, it used to be flour bag, focus bag, and all. We never used to have no plastic bag like how we have now. I remember when I used to go to Miss Bratcher's store, we get our flour bag with our rice, our sugar, and our corn, and even the plastic from the chicken, the sugar bag. When we buy the chicken, she wrap it up and she put it into a crocus bag, and we come home with it. But now, and flour bag, we used to make sheet out of them. We used to make kitchen towel, pillowcase out of flour bag. Now, this is modern days now. Things have changed. And, we have to just do better with these plastic bags and what we are throwing away, and be careful with them. And I'm here to say to everyone this morning, we come so far that things where we never have in our small young days, we have it now. And you know, dealing with young people don't care where they shut things days of today, like our older people. And I'm here to speak to the young people, then be careful. Keep your place. Keep wherever you go with your garbage. Walk with a plastic bag, a garbage bag. When you already have your time, put them in it. Because I go outing, our church go outing, and we always walk with our garbage bag to put all our stuff into, and we brought it back home to throw away in our garbage.
Good.
So it's not nice to leave things on the sea and the sun. It is not nice. So I'm here to say to each and every one, be careful. Remember, God loves us. And He's looking down on us with all the wrong that we are doing. And let us ask Him for forgiveness and do better. And do the things that He wants us to do. God bless. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening. I love all that is there.
All right.
God bless.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
All right. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nance.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Solid Waste has been involved in educating our communities for decades now. And I'm sure that we teach environmental matters in our schools from preschool right up. And so generations have passed since this education started, and yet we still have this problem. So it got to be, we're doing something wrong. So it is not a problem in many other countries. Okay? We seem to have a problem with national pride and respect for our environment. Most likely somebody who went walking threw that empty water bottle or whatever drink it was, just threw it there and didn't think about the fact that, yes, they're doing something right by exercising, but they're doing the wrong thing in disposing of their plastics. I mean, the two just don't add up. Okay? You think that they know the benefits of one, they should know the benefits of the other, I would think anyway. Now, as to what to do, the larger supermarkets generate a lot of this plastic. And they can give points for people who bring their reusable bags as well, you know, to put their groceries in. Just like how they give points for when you shop there. They can do the same thing if people use the bags, you know, because, I mean, they sell them anyway. So they should be encouraging people to use them, all right? They should, too, I think, use themselves, the large supermarkets especially, all supermarkets actually, as collection points for plastic waste, okay, that, you know, they can dispose of properly. Most vehicles, surprisingly, are not fitted with disposal bins, and so somebody should come up with one tailor-made for cars and so on, so that people are not tempted to just throw the garbage plastics out of the window. A lot of people do that, surprisingly. And we absolutely need a sewage system for Bastille. I mean, I don't know how much longer we're going to wait to do that, okay? And in the meantime, we can use low-tech strainers at the points where Bastille and other towns drain into the sea and have them periodically maintained, so that, you know, in other words, we catch a lot of the plastic before it gets into the sea.
Yep.
And similarly for the water courses, we can do the same thing. And finally, is our surveillance adequate? Can't we use cameras in particularly sensitive places? Are we making sure that the disposal trucks are properly covered? You know, plastics are generally light and generally blow all over the place. Are our fines high enough, right? And it's time we put more onus on households to sort their waste. That could be a practical way to teach people about environmental matters, and also get innovative ways of recycling. I think I saw in one of the science projects, grounding plastics and mixing it with the adhesive, whether tar or whatever,
yes,
to make roads. I mean, things like these, the recycling part of it needs to be looked at. Okay, then.
Thank you. All good suggestions here. I did see at one time, speaking of the road, I think it was Trinidad and Tobago, that had a project that would take these bottles and grind them up and use them within the asphalt to strengthen the asphalt. So a lot of things there coming from that corner we can look at. Back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, I'm back. They do that kind of thing there in Trinidad. I know for sure that.
Yeah, I think I heard that. So.
Right. Now, Tony, I'm going to tell you something now. It might sound kind of weird. But first of all, let me greet an elder up in your town, Miss Ivy Baptiste. Good morning, Miss Baptiste. Now, Tony, once ago, there's a stigma placed on two different species of fish in the sea as poisonous. That is Cavalli and Barracuda.
Right.
Not even if you raise those fish up in the mountain in a freshwater aquarium, people would eat them.
Right.
But now, with this bad plastic behavior, all the fish in the sea going to be considered poisonous. So when that happens, then nobody could eat no fish, no seafood, dinner, no nothing. So therefore, it comes back to us. Let us all be conscious of what we are doing, and let us have country. Put politics out of this here. No politics supposed to be in this. Put country above self. Let Tutmun Samambagay, every man play his part. Look out for the country. Make sure the country is going in the right track. And wheresoever we see a wedge or a hole opening up, we shut it up quick. Kill it as they will say kill it in the bud. Yeah. Let the country go on. If everybody obey the law and do what we have to do with these plastic that we are discarding all over the place, then we will have a healthy country, and the healthy country will become a wealthier country. Tony, thank you for your time.
Culture, before you go, there's a lady that called in a few minutes ago that talked about all the flour bag, all the uses we had for flour bag.
Yeah.
You remember all the uses?
If I remember them?
Yeah.
Well, they used to say, you eat the flour and you wear the cloth.
All right then, okay. Okay. I just wanted to know if you remember.
Yeah, man.
That's how I want to end today. All right. Thank you.
Everything on the flour bag, me had them.
Okay, good.
I sleep on them. I sleep in them. I wear them school.
Okay.
I wear them Sunday school.
Okay, just one then.
Okay then.
Talk to you.
Man.
All right.
An Indian chief. All right, Tony.
We will be back tomorrow with much more. Frank and Candid. I'm Tony Nias. Have an enjoyable day, even though it's wet. Try and stay as dry as you can. Enjoy it anyway. Talk to you tomorrow.